Another mystery project on the 3D printer. What do you think this might be? I'm not going to tell you now. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, May the 20th, 2024, and it is vlog number 360. So what have I been up to? Well, this, that, and the other thing. I always like to keep busy, as you know. So I've been working on the Churchill block. Excuse me. This is a block that I'm doing along with Stephanie Stitches. We're doing it as a weekly sort of sew-along project. And I have decided to take my block and make it into a quilt, and this is the quilt top. Now I'm going to add some borders to this, so it's not done or anything, but and a few minor errors in it as well, but I'll talk about those tomorrow. So that's all. I do have a few things for 3D printing though, and I'll talk about that when I get to that segment. But right now, let's take a look at a YouTube channel of the week. Now, a lot of people who aren't creators, and even creators for that matter on YouTube, they think we're going to make a lot of money from advertising. And you know that we as creators have no control over the advertising that's put on our channel. That is all done by YouTube. And lately they've been getting very aggressive about it. And I'm sure you've noticed it, you know, longer time before you can skip, if you can skip an ad. And sometimes they're sticking the ads right at the very end point of someone's video, and you miss the last 10 or 20 seconds. And that's very annoying as well. And there's just, excuse me, more and more of them all the time. Well, I found this video and I found it very interesting because another popular thing on YouTube are shorts. And they are gaining a great deal of ground. I know that I've gone down the rabbit trail with those as well. I like making shorts. I haven't made that many lately. I'm sorry. Choked up here a little bit. And what was I going to say? Yeah, and so supposedly they're automatically monetized. So he has done a comparison to how much you can make on a short and how much you can make on a long, meaning a longer video, and comparing the two. But what's really interesting about this video is he talks in more detail about exactly how much money does a creator make. And I'll tell you right now, it's pennies, really, literally pennies from this. So here's my review of that particular video clip. This week's YouTube video clip comes from a guy that I've watched before, and I think I have analyzed or talked about his videos too. These are for content creators. He gives a lot of very interesting information about what is happening with the algorithms that make money for YouTube creators. He's called Veed Creators, and this particular video caught my attention because it's called How Much I Get Paid for a Million Short Views. Now, there's been a real push of late in the last year, 6 months, by YouTube for creators to create these shorts, and I've created a few myself. In fact, I kind of like doing shorts because shorts are easy and they go up, and apparently they are monetized. However, he really reveals how much money as YouTube creators we're actually making from shorts, and believe me, it's diddly squat, which I suspected. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, and he does a comparison between shorts and what they call long videos, which are, you know, the more in-depth types of videos that creators make, he does compare how money is made on both of those. So this is a really interesting background information if you're interested in that kind of thing. So check out How Much I Get Paid for a Million Short Views, and the link for it's in the show notes below. So the link for that clip is in the show notes below. There's also a link for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. Always happens 9 a.m. Wednesdays. And there is a link there for the pop-up sew day. Yes, I'm having a pop-up sew day this coming Saturday, May the 25th. Starting at 8 a.m., running until about 5 p.m. in the afternoon. All are welcome, whether you've been with us before or not. We love having new people join us for the pop-up sew days. And it's always fun, lots of discussion. You get a lot of things done. Bring your own project, whatever it is you want to work on. And yeah, what else can I say about it? I know it's the long weekend in the United States. It's Memorial Weekend, but if you're like us, you don't do a heck of a lot on a long weekend because as I'm making this video, today is a holiday here in Canada and it's the May 4th or May 24th weekend. Words are failing me this morning. Yeah. But anyways, so I decided I'd have a pop-up sew day on this coming Saturday. So links here in the show notes, and those of you on my mailing list later this morning will have, well, maybe by the time you see this, you will already have received a email notice with the Zoom link as well. And just a reminder, this is a private group, meaning this is not a YouTube live, it is not recorded, it is all done by Zoom. So if you're a little camera shy, don't worry, this is not going anywhere. It's a closed group. Okay, and there's a couple links too to my two patterns that I have made, and they are free for you. I'm not charging anything for the patterns, and I have created a third pattern. Unfortunately, you're not going to see that pattern for about a year. Yeah, if you saw Stephanie Stitches live on Friday night, she had Shannon of Slay Arts and myself on there, and she made a exciting announcement. She's been building up for this, and I have been sworn to secrecy, but now the cat is out of the bag. So I can tell you, I have been asked to go to Stephanie's retreat in Berlin, Ohio, next April to teach. And so I've created an original pattern for that event. Everybody at the event will get that pattern for free, and we'll spend a few hours working on my quilt. Um, Shannon is doing something similar, and of course, Stephanie is as well. So it's going to be a great retreat because you're going to come out of it with three, actually four, because there's a fourth person, Sue, I believe is her name, but I don't know her last name, who's going to also be teaching. So you're actually going to get four projects all through those days of the retreat. So I was thrilled to be asked by Stephanie to do this, and I immediately got to work on the pattern, and the pattern is almost done. I'm in the editing stage of it. I have made a sample. You're not going to see it. I'm sorry. I know. I'm a bit of a tease. But in a year's time, that pattern will become available for everybody for free. Okay, but you're going to have to wait till next April. Sorry. But I'm sure I'll probably create another pattern or two before then as well that I don't have to keep under wraps and will be available for you as well. Just not sure when that'll be. Depends when the muse hits me. Okay, so what else is in the show notes? You'll find links to everybody, all my friends' YouTube channels. And you'll find links to last week's videos as well. Okay, so that takes me to what's going on outside my front door according to my Ring camera, and here it is. Now, right now, as we speak, it is 6:45, 6:45 in the morning, so sun is up. Looks very fresh, doesn't it? And it looks like it's going to be a nice day, and I think it is supposed to be a nice day. If I turn around here and take a look at the forecast, if I look, it's 13 degrees C right now, but we're going for a high of 26. That's nice. That's really warm. And it says it's going to be cloudy, but at parts of the day, but no rain. So that's pretty good. I'm glad I got all the patio furniture cleaned up yesterday and all laid out, because it would be nice to, if later today or this evening, it might be nice to sit out on the deck and enjoy dinner. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to talk more about the deck when I come to my part about our garden as well, because, yeah, there's been a radical change. Okay, so that's what things are looking like today outside the front in my front yard. Oh, and by the way, Walter has been planting grass, and just let me go back to that picture. If you take a look at that patch right here in the center section, the lights shining across it, that's all his new grass, and it's coming up well. He's been watering the crap out of it, but it looks, it's working, and he tried a new method for this, and yeah, he's very, very happy with his efforts on that. Okay, so what's pissing me off this week? Well, in our government, in the Ontario government's infinite wisdom, they sent us out a notice by email for all of us that are registered from having, you know, COVID shots. And of course, it's coming to that time again. And for us seniors, people 65 and over, we can get the shot now. Yay, great, wonderful. Well, not really. Okay. Because our pharmacies give you the shot and you usually have to make an appointment. But there is a portal conveniently on the website from the government that takes you to all of these sites, and all you have to do is click on the site and make your appointment. Yeah, no. No, I went to all the Shoppers Drug Marts in the area, and there's quite a few. Shoppers Drug Marts are extremely prolific. There's one on every corner, right next to a Tim Hortons. So I clicked on the one that I would usually go to. Nothing available this week. Nothing available next week. Nothing available the week after. Nothing available the next week. So I tried the other ones. Same things coming up. Sure. Yeah, this is wonderful. Walter told me why that was. Reason is they don't have the vaccination stuff yet. So here the government's telling us we can get it, but you can't get it, which is typical of anything that our government does. This Ontario government's got to go. Doug Ford, our premier, has to go. He is the biggest piece of you know what that exists. He is our version of Trump. He really is. But anyways, but another thing about the vaccination shot, you are not supposed to get your next your booster until it's been about 6 months after your last one. Well, it is November 20th. Actually, it's 6 months to today because this is May 20th. That's when I had my last booster shot. But I don't really have to worry about finding a place to get it because I can't have one. Because I've had COVID. And if you've had COVID, you can't have a booster shot if it's going to be effective, they say, until 3 to 6 months after you've had COVID. So I guess I don't have to worry until the fall. And it'll be the same thing. Announcement will come out from the government telling us we can get it now, and then we'll be waiting to see when the pharmacies get it. The system is broken. It is not well organized. You know, it's on the surface level, it seems well organized. Then when you start to dig a little deeper, it's just this whole thing. And you know, I can't help but think, and I've had this rant before, and I'm not going to go into it today, but you know, I think this whole thing with the new drugs and everything that are coming out, the doctors are prescribing us a pill for everything. We talked about that yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live. So I'm not going to go into it in detail more, but it's all I don't I didn't think that I was someone who believed in conspiracy theories, but I'm starting to lean towards them more and more, especially when it comes to drug companies and all these new drugs out there that their doctors are forcing down our throats. Yeah. Who do you believe? Who do you believe? I guess you can't believe anybody anymore. So, yeah, so no vaccination for me for the various reasons I just stated. That kind of pisses me off. Okay, so let's go to new products. Well, I didn't really buy, I'm just looking for my links here. Okay, so here we go. All right, I did buy a few things, but they're boring. Okay, now you know that I have been taking or have taken an online course in fixing sewing machines, doing deep cleans, that kind of thing. And there were some tools that were recommended by the person who has put these videos up, Andy, of Sewing Doc Academy. And she recommended this set of tools, which aren't very expensive, and they're actually meant as auto trim removal tool. But the idea is these will help you get into the plastic casing around your sewing machine because the plastic casing has tabs and things. And she does show in her course how to use these tools to get into your sewing machine. So I thought, you know, I should have a set of these. Of course, Walter already has a set of these because he bought them to actually use them when he was installing his cameras in his car to get in under the trim. So yeah, it figures. I should be asking Walter. He has everything. You know, every time I buy something, he says, oh yeah, I've got that. Yeah, we have a lot of duplicates. So I bought those. Have I used them yet? Well, no, but they're probably handy to have anyways, because I did open up my Janome Skyline S7, which is my travel machine, as my first machine to work on. And before I go to the main event, my M7. And I didn't need these because you don't take off the front and the back cover on a Janome. You take off the bottom and another piece, and you can get into it very easily. So I didn't need to use them. But as I said, I have them. So other things that I bought, let's see, filament. I've had people ask me before how much it costs to do a 3D print. Well, really, the only cost you have, unless you want to figure in electricity, and 3D printers really don't use a lot of electricity, you've got to figure in the cost of filament. Now, at first glance, filament is expensive. I just bought another 3 rolls of the two-tone one. I don't know if the two-tone one is here. Yeah, this kind of thing. I bought them in different colors. I buy this filament all the time, and it usually costs me, actually, it's usually $30. They've got a coupon that they'll apply at checkout. So sometimes Amazon does have a bit of a deal. But yeah, they're about $30 a spool. Now, the spools come in as 1 kilogram spools. They do it by weight. Don't ask me why. I don't know, but they do it by weight. You think that's really expensive, but you actually don't need that much filament. Even for larger projects, you can get quite a few prints from 1 spool of filament. So in that way, if you worked it out on how many prints you could get, and it would depend on the size of the prints, it might cost you $5 a print. Could be less than that. So that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I'd like it to be cheaper, but this is also a specialty filament I'm showing you here, because you can see here there's some filaments that aren't as elaborate, $23.99, $24.99. There are other filaments like this one, very expensive. It can get more expensive, but it also really depends on the type of filament, because there's more than one type of filament. But anyways, I stockpile the filament that I like here, because my printers right now are quiet, but that's only because I'm doing this recording. They finished in the night what I wanted them to make, and I have more things that I want to throw on it. Yeah, I constantly use my 3D printers. They're probably operational almost 24/7. Okay, but I thought I'd share that with you to show you that I bought some of that, but because people were asking about the cost, I thought I should address that. The other thing I bought, and this is more for the quilters, again, Stephanie Stitches is doing a sew along kind of thing using this book, the Underground Railroad Sampler. And so these are all classic blocks that eventually you can make this sampler. And along in the book, I understand, I haven't seen the book yet, but in the book, they also give you a little history about all the blocks. Now, the Underground Railroad, when it came to quilts, there's a legend that there was secret code in the blocks that told the slaves where they should go or where things were safe. But no one has ever verified that. And if you do a little research into it, no one's really sure if that's really what happened or it's just a myth that has grown up over time. But anyways, this particular book supposedly gives you a little bit of background into that. So I thought this might be interesting. Now, I don't like to buy books. I'm an e-reader kind of guy, okay? I mean, I always loved books. I love the feel of a book. But, you know, e-reading is easier for me for a lot of reasons, but one reason is storage. I just don't have any space left for anything. But I did purchase this book. It's also an old book. You can see January 1st, 2003. So it's 11 years ago that this book was published. This might be difficult to get anywhere else. Um, but I was able to get this, and this just brought up another issue. If you're ever looking for a book that's maybe out of print, search Amazon. You may find it on Amazon. It's a good source for that kind of thing as well. Now, there's no saying what you'll pay for it. Depends on how rare it is, because of course the price is going to be higher. But it is a good spot to go if there's something you're looking for in printed form that you just can't seem to find anywhere else, or as I said, is actually out of print. Doesn't hurt to look. Okay, so that takes me to the grow lights. And well, there's nothing in the grow lights at this point in time, but Walter spent the weekend getting his plants all out on the deck. So we've got a variety of things growing right now, and I love it when they start getting bigger because it just adds so much to the deck. I mean, it's not a one-off. They're nice to look at, the plants, and we eat them because we've got peppers and lettuce and basil and chives, and Walter's going to get some onions out there. Someone suggested we grow radishes, and that's something we have never tried before, and that might be something that could be fun. He's got a cucumber. Don't know how that's going to work out in a container pot because, cucumbers tend to spread out. They're a vine. So this may not work, but what the heck? Give it a shot. See what happens. Anyways, I made a little video showing you what things are looking like right now at the beginning of the season. So Walter was busy yesterday planting everything for our deck garden. So you can see here he's got some peppers and some lettuce. And that's a weird looking tomato. Another tomato. These are red peppers. He left the tags in so we'll remember what these are. More tomatoes. Another pepper plant. And he's got some hot peppers in here and some jalapenos as well. And some more tomatoes, peppers. These are chives. They come up every year. We don't plant them. They're just there now. They're blossoming right now. Probably should cut that back because I don't know if they make them taste funny when there's been flowers on them. Basil or basil. Another pepper plant. And that's everything that Walter's got out here. And in another month's time or so, these are going to look really great. And we'll be able to have lots of fresh stuff for salads, which is something I look forward to. So that takes me, can I print this 3D effing thing? And this week, well, if you noticed in the title, I said, what did I say in the title? I said, make a rope bowl without rope. Now, last week or so, I was talking about this whole phenomenon, trend, whatever you want to call it, in the sewing community, where people are getting clothesline and making them into bowls. And some are trying to embroider on them and all kinds of things like that. They make them very decorative using certain threads or dyeing their rope or whatever. Well, too much effort. I made one, as you know, and that's the only one I'll ever make because I found it tedious. And I like the overall look, but it's just not worth the effort. However, 3D printing comes to the rescue. And here we go. Rope bowls, not made with rope. They are made with filament. They are plastic. But you can see on these two the detail on them. And if you were just to look at them without touching them, two things would come to mind. One, oh, that's a rope bowl. And how'd you get that color? And that's really thick rope. Well, there's an advantage to printing in 3D rope bowls because color, size, and you can manipulate the shape. The purpley one is like a little mug kind of a thing, but I could easily extend the dimensions of that and it could become a really cool flower pot or a vase or something like that. The basic orange one was my first try just to see what it would look like. Now, how many of these I'm going to make? Well, I don't know, but I know I can, and I might have a use for them. Actually, these ones are just sitting around. Maybe I'll take them and put them out on our patio, the underneath patio, as we call it, because it's underneath our deck, and maybe get some fake little flowers Maybe a succulent. That might look nice. A little succulent, because they don't take much care at all. And plant a little succulent in these. Ooh, that's a thought. Okay, I'll write that down on my list of things to do this week. Find succulents. But anyways, it's just fun. I just want to see if I could do this. Now, I could make these look even more realistic, like a rope bowl, if I had used a brownie colored, and I have some filament. And I might give that a try too. That might be kind of fun. I have a thing for color. I love color. I love bright colors. But yeah, so it can be done, and it's not hard, and you can get various models for making these from Thingiverse, and they're free. And as I said, you can manipulate in your software, in your slicer software, to make these whatever size grabs your fancy and that your printer can handle. So yeah, so in one way, this was an experiment. In another way, it is a practical print, as I said, because I can use it for several different things. Now, is it waterproof? That's to be seen. They may not be waterproof. I'll have to test them out and see. But if they're not, and I want to put a plant in them, there's nothing saying I can't have a little flower pot, a little small one, set inside this, and that will work too. In fact, that's probably what I'll do if I get succulents. I'll probably just leave the succulents right in the pot they come in and drop them inside of this. Might have to make another one of those ones with the handle on it, but make it a little bigger for that. Have to wait until I get the succulents. See how that works out. I'll keep you apprised of that. Okay, so that's what we've been up to. And I've been up to several other things too on the 3D printer. And so I'm spacing those out over the weeks. I'm not going to show you everything at once, but I've been having some fun. I've had a renewed energy in my creative spirit for 3D printing, let's say. And so I've got some exciting things down the road to show you. Okay, so that takes me to Blasts from the Past, the old video clips I'm showing you from my very first days, weeks of being a YouTube creator. And this one is, as you know, I was a paper crafter in those days. I wasn't a quilter. That wasn't even on the horizon at the time. But I was a scrapbooker, paper crafter, an art journalist, all those good things. If it was made from paper, I was doing it. And one of the things I'd love to do in those days was make albums. And create my own version of albums. I even used to do bookbinding, hardcover books. Yeah, I read up on that and how to do that, and I really enjoyed doing it. It was a little bit more complicated than what you're going to see in this video clip of this, but nevertheless, I really like doing them. I made a lot of albums over the years that I was crafting. I gave some away as gifts, and others, well, sadly, have hit landfill because there's just no place for them. I mean, how many journals does one need? You know, kind of a thing. But anyways, here's what I'm talking about. This is a primitive video. This is one of my early ones, and this is my Byzantine album. Hi, here's my next album. Now, this album was completely done without any forethought really whatsoever. The only thing I thought about was the fact that I had seen somebody create a pocket using patterned paper and their sewing machine. Now, I don't know how to sew, but I do have a sewing machine. And so I thought, well, let's get it out and see what I can do. So I got out this old sewing machine, and it had some basic stitches, and it did zigzag, and I got out the manual, and it took me about half an hour to figure out how to thread the stupid thing. And, you know, why do they make holes in these things for people who have average size hands? You must have to have little microscopic fingers to get things threaded and really good eyesight. And I do not have small fingers, and I do not have good eyesight. So that's probably why it took me half an hour to thread the machine. But once I got it threaded, I started experimenting with it, figured out how to do a straight stitch and how to do a zigzag. And from there, I created this album. Now, I created this album on the whole thing from beginning to end in an afternoon on a Saturday. I just sort of went with the flow. So here it is,
and it's a 6x6 album. And what I did was I had this neat pattern paper, and so I started with the cover. And if you've seen some of my previous videos, you know how I like to laminate with layers my covers for my albums to make them a little stiffer. I did not do that with this one because this paper was fairly stiff to start with. All I did was I put two pieces of it together. Actually, I cut a 12 by 6 strip, because it was a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, folded in half this way, and then I just stitched it with a zigzag across the top. Now, the one problem I have with the zigzag is it tells you in the sewing book, and if I knew how to sew, this would probably have been a lot easier, you can do a back stitch. But I thought that looked kind of messy with the zigzag, so I did try that, didn't like it, so I pulled that out, just did a straight zigzag, and then just to keep the ends from unfraying, I took a little bit of goldy yellow stickles and just put it on the ends of each of these corners on both sides, and it dries it, holds it, and you can't really see with this paper. It blends right into it. So for the cover, I used my Cricut, took another piece of the paper, cut it out, used a black ink pad, and just went around to give it a little outline. Cut another matching shape in a coordinating paper, stamped a butterfly. Those of you who've seen my previous videos know that I'm a little obsessed with butterflies when it comes to decorative elements. I don't know why, I just like them. And put that in the center. And then for the treatment here, I used my cinch to bind everything when I was done, and added these ribbons to the sides. So, inside. Same technique with the paper, folded in half, but in this case, instead of doing a zigzag with it, because I wasn't making this particular page into a pocket, and I used the zigzag on the other one just as a decorative element, I just glued them together. And again, cut out this shape, more coordinating paper in the center. This whole album just has places for pictures and journaling, whatever the user would like to do. Back side, similar thing. Now here's the pocket idea. And what it is again, I took a 12 by 6 inch piece of this paper that I cut, folded it in half, and then I zigzag stitched it along the edge. And I used black on this one because I didn't really want the stitching to show up as an element, although you can see it, but it created this neat little pocket, and it's very secure. Then I took a round punch and just on the half cut out the little piece here so it's easy to get into. And then I created these tags. Again, I didn't put a lot of thought into this. I just let it happen. And so I just went to this paper pack. All this paper came from the same paper pack. I don't know what it's called. Doesn't matter. I know people on these videos are always telling you what manufacturer is of the paper, what paper pack it's from. But you know, usually you can't find those again, or you don't remember the name anyways. So, you know, I just grab what I like, and there we go. So I cut out these tags, two different styles. This one had a little point kind of a thing to it. This one's more of a scallop out of that paper. I didn't really sit down and plan where I was going to have the graphics that came on the paper. I just let it do its thing. On the back it's blank, single layer. You can write whatever you want on it, put pictures on it, and then put in some ribbon in the holes, and presto bingo, done. And they fit in here. Now, yeah, they fit in here if I put them in correctly. Okay, open this up. So they go in here, and I'll let them hang out a little bit because, again, you know, the ribbon's hanging outside of the book when it's closed up, I think is kind of nice. It's decorative. So really, this is all, these pages are what are repeated in here. There's the one I showed you before that's just glued together. Now this is the third type of page that I created. I thought it needed a little bit more variety, so I took a piece of this paper, which is cut 12 by 6, fold it down, fold it in half, fold it one flap, or did I fold this in half? No. This one is not folding. It's a 6 by 12. Yeah, I can't remember now. Okay. I'll run a video show you how to make this, but this is pretty basic, so I'm sure anybody can do it without much instruction. So it's a flap, folded it over, glued it down along this edge. This edge didn't need to because it's already cinched up. Creates a pocket, cut out a shape that I thought kind of was reminiscent of that shape out of that paper, and inside put in a framey background plate, used the ink pad again to ink it, folds up, there. You can use it for journaling, you can use it for pictures, whatever. Same on this side. Okay, and I glued these two pieces together just to make them more substantial. Here we go with the pocket again, tags, same as what I said before, just notice these tags have not been stuck in there properly. And just repeated this. So I think this album has a total of about 12 pages total. And there you go, and there's this time with the pocket again, same shape. Like I said, didn't take a lot of thought, didn't take a lot of time, but completed a nice little album, cinched it all up, and there you go. So, that was an afternoon project, didn't take a lot of thought, learned something new, how to sew pockets together using the sewing machine. I also have a serger, and I'm going to try learning how to use that serger and see what I can do on paper with it. So, there you go. Hope you like it.
So that takes me to events in the past week. Well, it was a busy week all the way around. It was busy on YouTube here. I was on Stephanie's live surprise announcement on Friday, along with Shannon of Slay Arts, as I've already mentioned to you, and that's when we revealed that we will be teaching at her retreat in April. A lot of people joined us for that, and I have to say, Stephanie is the queen of creating moments for shivering with anticipation, if you wish. So a lot of doctor visits the past week. Walter went to the doctor. He went to the eye doctor. He went to his regular doctor. His doctor, regular doctor, says, well, his blood sugar's up. She feels that he has diabetes 1. But he's going to try to control it right now with diet. She wanted to immediately put him on the Ozempic drug. No, he said no. I mean, there's too many problems with that drug. Yes, he'd lose weight and all this kind of stuff, but no, people are dying from that drug. And we talked about that yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live too. So right now, he's going to try to control it with diet. And losing a little bit of weight, our doctor always wants us to lose weight because she's a skinny little mini to start with too. And yes, I know it's supposed to be better for your health. You're not carrying it around. Okay. Cost a lot of money to get this. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So, I don't know. We'll see how this all works out. But if Walter's not going to eat certain things, I'm not going to eat certain things because I'm going to be supportive of what he's going through, and it couldn't hurt me either. So we'll go that route. I went to the dentist on Monday for a cleaning. I was a little disappointed. She spent a little more time than I thought she would. Last time, it was over pretty quick. This time, not so quick. And I'm using the water pick. So now I'm thinking, was it my imagination last time? I asked her about it again. She said, oh no, water pick's a good thing. She should do some flossing too. Well, I am. I'm doing both. But you can never satisfy them. They've always got some tips more that they want you to do. I mean, she's going on with the floss. She wants you to get right in there and scrape. That's easier said than done. Yeah, sure. She's out here outside of my mouth. She can see everything and do her thing there. But when you can't see in your mouth and you're trying to manipulate this stuff and do the same thing she is, it isn't as easy. But I'm trying it anyways. I do not want to have teeth like my parents had. No. My teeth are, for all purposes, are in pretty good shape. So, but that's because I take care of them. So anyways, that was a thrill. And then I went to the eye doctor. And yeah, my eyes are healthy and everything like that. But I did have a prescription change. I had cataract surgery about 12 years ago. I have lenses in my eyes. These are for up close, like right now with the computer. And these aren't really my glasses. They look like my glasses, but they're not. So I got the prescription change and everything. I went over to the optometrist, which is all part of the same building, and I've been going to this optometrist for many, many years. Love him. I trust his opinion. And the ophthalmologist recommended a certain type of style of glass, of lenses for my eyes, because I work on a computer, because I sew and all this kind of stuff. And the optometrist said, no, those are not going to help. And he recommended something else. And he explained to me everything. That's why I like, he explains everything out to you is exactly, I trust his opinion and what he says. And so anyways, I'm getting new lenses. Uh, he had to have my frames for a week for that. And I went, ooh, that could be a problem because I won't be able to see. Like I would not be able to sew. I wouldn't even be able to do much on the computer without these because everything would be a bit blurry. So I said, yeah. And he says, I can help you with that. So he grabbed these frames, which are pretty much exactly like my old frames because I didn't want to get new frames. I love this style of frames. And he popped the lenses out of my old frames and popped them into these ones. And he says, okay, they're loners. I said, okay, great. Now, the one problem I'm having with them is the focal point. These haven't been adjusted properly for my eyes. So things are not as clear. Actually, they're a little distorted at times. But anyways, it's only for a week. Probably before the end of this week, my lenses will be in, everything will be good, and I can pick them up. And pay for them. Yeah, that's the part that hurts. $950 for lenses. That's not for new frames with that. That's just the lenses. Lenses are expensive. But, I can get part of that money back through our insurance, but only part of it, not the whole thing. I think at the most I can get is $350. So it's still going to cost me $600 for those. So, yeah. Well, can you put a price on eyesight? I don't think you can. I want to be able to see at any price. Okay, so those were the doctor things. So what else? Well, I was talking about Walter's grass, his grass seed. So I did a little video when he was out there doing his watering. I'm going to insert that in here for you now. So Walter's out here watering his grass seed that we have all here. So there he is, Farmer Walter, watering his field. And apparently we're having a little bit of an ant problem as well. And Walter read online that the ants are having a war. I didn't know ants had wars, but you learn something every day. So we've got ant killer all over where they're hanging out because we don't want them in the house. And as far as the front garden is concerned, we got some stuff coming up. Walter's got these two lovely urns of flowers as well, but you are going to get some more flowers, aren't you, to put in there, or
where?
In the front garden, or have you got them all in?
No.
Oh, yeah, so what? We're just using the hostas and the daylilies, which are nice.
And the Rosa Sharons are nice.
Oh, yeah. And they're doing okay right now. They've got lots of, they got green buds on them and everything, so that'll come up. But, yeah. And there are trees. I love our trees. These 3 trees just fill in every year, so nice. Hopefully the town won't come by at some point and cut down our tree.
The other trees, there have been trees in the neighborhood that have had disease, and they've had to take them down.
Yeah.
And the maples are prone to fungus.
Oh, fungus among us. Well,
our trees, these two seem to be okay. There's other ones down the road. There's one down there. It looks like it's beginning to have a problem. See, it's got yellow at the top.
Oh, yeah. It's not good because it'd be a shame. These trees have been here as long as we have. They were small little things when we moved in, and now I think it looks quite nice with the way that they're interlacing with each other. And as sort of been mentioned, I think we touched on a little bit in that video, he was trying a new method for rooting his grass, and he's really liking this method. He saw it on YouTube, and he says it works really well. gives your grass a really good start before you even get it out on the lawn, and so it roots much quicker, I guess, in the whole bed. So he seems to be very pleased with that method. Okay, then, because this was the long weekend, we decided it was a nice day on Saturday, a little overcast, but not too bad. We went off to place east of us by about an hour and a half, a little town called Campbellford. Campbellford is where I was born. That's where my grandparents lived. My parents grew up there and the whole bit. My grandparents and my parents are now buried there as well. Yeah, that's a bit morbid. So we went off there because there's a little microbrewery on the outskirts of town, and they were having a market as well on the weekend. So we went off to this. It was kind of in a pasture kind of a thing. We parked in a pasture. Yeah, we were a little afraid we wouldn't get the car back out, but we did. And there were stalls of things. People made things, crafts and stuff like that. We bought a few things. We bought some salsa, which actually is very good. Very runny, but very good. We bought some kind of jam that was made with beer as well. That might have been a mistake. But anyways, we bought that. And we bought some beer from this brewery as well. Just a small one to try. So we had a lot of fun. We went out for lunch later. There's a place in Campbellford that we've been to before. And we went there, had lunch, and came back home. So it was kind of a nice little day. We weren't gone that long. It was about a half-day trip kind of thing by the time we're done. This little market, you really couldn't spend hours there. Well, you'll see what I mean in a minute because I took a little video, just a short one. It didn't take that much, but it'll give you a feel. So we're here at what was this called? It's a brewery. Foglerid Rig or something like that, brewery. But they have this market here this weekend. As you can see, we just tried the Mexican salsa and bought a bottle of that. And we'll look around here and see what else there is to see. What's that? Beer jellies. One of the factors and Jagua said, we don't know the Mexican cuisine. Salsa.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Would you like to try some samples?
Sure.
Come on over. These are different kinds of traditional Mexican salsas. I have mild, medium, hot, and I also carry my line of corn chips.
Oh, okay.
Which ones would you like to try? You tell me.
Let's see.
What do you like in terms of spiciness or flavor?
I like things that are about medium in spice, so yeah.
Okay. So the mediums that I have would be my salsa craft beer, salsa mango chipotle, and salsa verde. These are the three mediums that I have. You tell me which
How about the mango one?
you want to try the mango, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what about yourself?
I'll try the other one, the salsa verde.
The salsa verde? Yeah.
Okay, so that brings me pretty much to the end of the vlog today. So just a reminder, Pop-Up Sew Day this coming Saturday, May the 25th. Links in the show notes for that. Hope to see lots of you there to keep me company because Walter will not be here. He's going off to an in-person sew day with his cronies that make garments. And so I thought, that's a good time to have a Pop-Up Sew Day as well because I'll be home here all by my lonesome and I need company. Yeah. So that's it for this vlog. Tune in tomorrow for the Idiot Quilter episode and later in the week for So Chatty as well and Stephen and Walter live on Sunday. So lots coming up. Hope you have a great week. Hope to see some of you on the Pop-Up Sew Day and have a good one. Bye for now.